Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to today's English lesson. Today is Wednesday, the 24th of February, 2021, and we're going to be looking at and understanding a lot of new vocabulary. We're going to be identifying new vocabulary. We're going to be exploring the meaning of our new vocabulary. Then we're going to be making sure we can apply our new vocabulary when we are reading to make sure everything makes sense. Just to warm your brains up and remind you of what you learned yesterday. I've got 5 books or sentences here. You need to decide if they are fiction or non-fiction. A reminder that fiction is a made-up or imaginary story, and non-fiction tells us facts and information. On your sheet, write down the numbers 1 to 5 and label them with an F if you think they are fiction, or an NF if you think they are non-fiction. Pause the video while you do this. Number 1, Wombat Goes Walkabout is a fiction text. It's a brilliant story that has been made up by Michael Morpurgo. Number 2, this book tells us lots of facts about wombats. It is a non-fiction book because it tells us facts and information. Number 3, a photograph on the front cover of a kangaroo. This book is called What is a Marsupial? And it's going to tell us more facts and information. This is a non-fiction text. Number 4, it was baking hot now, and Wombat shuffled into the shade of the great eucalyptus tree. Need to full stop. This sentence has got lots of description. It's written in past tense, and it's part of a fiction text. It has been made up. Number 5, wombats live in Australia where the weather is often hot and dry. That sentence is written in the present tense, and it tells us information about wombats in Australia. It is a non-fiction sentence. All right, let's have a look at our new vocabulary. My turn, your turn. Marsupial. 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 Well done. A tricky word. A marsupial is a type of animal from Australia or America. Marsupials often carry their babies, in a pouch on their body. So a kangaroo is a great example of a marsupial, and you can see the kangaroo carrying its baby in a pouch. A wombat is another type of marsupial. These animals are special to Australia and some parts of America. Marsupial. My turn. Nocturnal. Your turn. Nocturnal. Nocturnal means that you're active at night time. Some animals are nocturnal, so they sleep in the day and they wake up at night. Wombats are nocturnal. They sleep in the day and they come out to look for food and exercise at night time. That's the opposite to us. Here are some pictures of other nocturnal animals. A good one that we know are the foxes around where we live in West Ealing. The foxes are asleep in the day or maybe resting, and then at night time they come out to find their food and have a wander around. These animals are nocturnal. They are active at night time. My turn. Habitat. Your turn. My turn. Habitat. Your turn. habitat is the natural home of an animal or plant. It's where something lives. We're going to be learning about habitats in science. For example, fish live in water. Their habitat is water. Habitat is where something lives. It's their natural home. So, what do you think is the habitat of a penguin? Would a penguin live in A, or would a penguin have a habitat of B? You're right, it's B. A penguin is suited to live in this habitat, an icy, cold habitat. It wouldn't do very well if it tried to live in A. That would not be its natural habitat. A habitat is the natural home of where an animal lives, where it lives. So, what is the habitat of a chimpanzee? Would a chimpanzee have a habitat of A, the jungle, or B, underwater? Yes, A, the jungle. A chimpanzee lives in a jungle. That's its natural habitat. You couldn't put it under the water. It wouldn't do very well at all. Some other vocabulary that we need, just to check. The word male means that the animal is a boy. And the word female means the animal is a girl. Male is a boy and female is a girl. My turn. Pest. Your turn. My turn. Pest. Your turn. A pest is an insect or an animal that causes trouble. You can see in these pictures here, a mouse has nibbled at the Kit Kat. That makes the mouse a pest because they're causing trouble in this shop. Here, a farmer has been trying to grow their sweet corn, and the mouse or the rat or even a locust has come along and eaten the sweet corn. That makes them a pest. And here on this leaf, these beetles have eaten nearly the whole leaf. This poor plant. That means that these insects are a pest. They're causing trouble. When we are finding out facts and information, we'll often come across new words. These words can be tricky scientific words, but we're going to try and use some clues to help us. First thing we can do is we can look for little words in the big word we're not sure of. Secondly, we can read around the word and try and guess what it means. And thirdly, you might need to ask an adult or use a dictionary. I have just introduced you to some new words. But now we're going to see if you can work out the meaning of words. Here I have this word, wetland. My turn, wetland. Your turn, wetland. Number 1, we can look for little words in big words. This is a compound word. I've got the word wet and the word land. So, what do you think the word wetland might mean? Pause the video while you have a think. The word wetland means exactly that. It's an area of land where the ground is that is often wet. Here is a wetland. See how there's big puddles and ponds everywhere. This is a wetland. Which animals do you think you would find in a wetland? A wetland is a natural habitat of different animals. Which animals do you think you could find in a wetland? Yep, you might find birds, ducks, frogs, swans, geese. Some of the wetlands might have some fish in them if the water's deep enough. These are wetlands. Let's see if we can work out another word. Look for the little words in a big word. This word is forested. Forested. I think I can spot a little word in the big word. This word says forest. What do you think the word forested could mean? The word forested means covered in forest. It's an area that is covered in forest. Forest, remember, is like our woods, lots of trees together. Forested means covered in forest. We found the clue. Here's an example of some forested areas. Now, the other thing we can do is read around the word to take a guess. Sometimes we have to skip the word out. Here's our sentence. Wombats are plant-eating animals. Wombats eat grass, shrubs, bark, and moss. I don't think I know what the words shrubs and moss mean. Let's take them out. Wombats are plant-eating animals. Wombat eat grass, bark, and something. The words shrubs and moss are covered up. We know wombats are plant-eating animals and they eat grass. What do you think shrubs and moss might be? What else could wombats eat? Pause the video while you have a think. Right, wombats could eat other types of plants. They could eat leaves, they could eat bushes. Shrubs is a type of bush, and moss is the plant that grows on the edge of a tree or on top of a rock sometimes. I know that wombats are plant-eating animals, so even though I'm not sure what some of those words mean, I know they must be other types of plants. Sometimes, when we don't know a word, we can read around the word and take a guess. So, you just learnt a lot of words. Our star words that we've just had a look at is marsupial, female, pest, nocturnal, forested, habitat, wetland, and male. That's a lot of words. What we're going to do is read a report about wombats that contain these words. It's important we understood what they meant before we started reading the report. Otherwise, it might not make sense. In your home learning pack, there is a report all about wombats. Please, can you pause the video and make sure you have this report in front of you because we're going to read it together. The title of this report is Wombats. This is a non-fiction report, and it's going to tell us information and facts about wombats. What is a wombat? Wombat is an animal that belongs to a group of marsupials. We know that word. Remember, those are the animals often found in Australia. They carry their young in a pouch. Wombats are nocturnal animals. That means they're active at night. Wombats are the second largest marsupials in Australia. They can reach up to 45 inches in length and up to 80 pounds in weight. Females, that's the girls, are slightly bigger than males. All wombat species are divided into two groups, bare nose, and hairy nose. So some of them have hairy noses, and some of them don't have a hairy nose. What is a wombat habitat? Remember, habitat is where an animal lives. Wombats live in the coastal region of Australia, near the coast, and on the surrounding islands. Wombats prefer wet and forested areas on the slopes, open grasslands, and eucalyptus forests. What is a wombat diet? Wombats are herbivores, which means plant-eating animals. They only eat plants. Their diet consists mainly of grass, roots, shrubs, moss, and bark. Plant diet leads to the wearing of their teeth. Because of that, their teeth grow constantly during their whole life. Interesting fact, wombats are considered as pests. That means they cause trouble in certain parts of Australia because they damage crops and protective fences. Farmers do not hesitate to kill them to protect their land. Other threats to the survival of wombats is habitat loss. That means their homes are being destroyed. These factors brought the northern hairy-nosed wombat to the edge of extinction. That means there's nearly none left. Now, that is a report on wombats. It has lots of tricky vocabulary and lots of information on it. You've been introduced to new words and hopefully learned some strategies about what to do when you find a word you don't know. Remember to have a look for the little words in big words or read around the word. In your home learning pack, there is a sheet with our new vocabulary on it and the definition. You need to match the word to the meaning. For example, nocturnal. Nocturnal means active at night. So we draw a line from nocturnal to wherever it says active at night. Here. Nocturnal. And you need to do those for each of your new words. Give it a try. Let us know if you've got any problems at all, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more non-fiction texts.